All right, so I just did a video on why flight instructors only have to hold a basic med. If you haven't seen that, go take a look at that now. But I do want to do a follow up to that video to explain why a flight instructor is only exercising privileges of a private pilot certificate. So I have to admit, years ago when I became a commercial pilot and then a flight instructor, my assumption was that the prerequisite to hold the commercial pilot certificate to become a CFI was because you're receiving compensation for giving flight instruction. And actually, that's not true. The only reason you have to hold and obtain a commercial certificate to become a CFI is because you are instructing at the knowledge and skill level as a commercial pilot. There is no flight instructor certificate for private only. You get a flight instructor certificate and you're allowed to conduct instruction for commercial pilot students. So you have to possess that same knowledge and skill level. If you look at a sport pilot instructor, in the regulations, the bare minimum they have to hold is a sport pilot certificate. And if you look at the final rule from the FAA as to why that is, it's because they say the complexity and knowledge and skill level is not that of a normal flight instructor. It's even less complex. So they don't talk about compensation in commercial pilots. They just talk about skill and knowledge level. One thing I want you to remember about a commercial pilot certificate is just because you hold a commercial pilot certificate, that does not allow you to act as a commercial operator. So I think there's a lot of confusion about private versus common carriage. Just because you hold a commercial pilot certificate, you cannot do private carriage operations. So we all know one is holding out and one is not holding out. Private carriage still requires you to hold an FAA operator certificate because you are transporting persons and property for compensation or hire. A commercial pilot certificate only allows you to act as pilot in command of an aircraft that is transporting persons and property for compensation or hire. So you still have to fall under either an air operator certificate or an air carrier certificate. You can't take your friends around and call it private carriage. That would be a charter operation, and you need to hold an air operator certificate to do so. Remember, under 119.1, there's a listing of things you can do without holding an air operator or air carrier certificate, flight instruction being one of those. Because you're not transporting persons and property for comp or hire, you're not exercising the privileges of a commercial pilot certificate. That's why the FAA says you're only exercising privileges of a private pilot certificate level at that point, and that's why you don't need an air operator certificate under 119.1, and that's why you only need to hold a basic med.